Hi, Diane Bolden, executive coach and author of the Pinocchio Principle, Becoming a Real Leader. I work with executives to help them come alive at work so they can make a bigger impact, being who they truly are, and live more fulfilling lives, both on and off the job. And today, I want to talk to you about navigating through change, challenge, and uncertainty. I have a number of clients right now that are in the midst of massive change in their organizations. And it's really easy when it feels like nothing is certain to focus more on what it is that you're afraid of, to worry about what's coming, and to either project into the future the worst possible scenario, or to, in some cases, dredge up from the past something that happened to you a long time ago that you're really afraid will happen again. And in some cases, we go to hypothetical places where we hear something that happened to somebody else, maybe somebody we know or didn't know, just heard about, and project that same uncertain or fearful future onto our present. In any of those cases, it can be really unnerving, especially as a leader where part of your role is to help other people deal with change themselves. So what I would like to do today is share with you a stance from yoga and from karate that I think can help you at least to envision and to embody a different way of dealing with change in your life. In yoga, there is a stance called the warrior stance. There's actually two versions of it. One looks like this, the other is like this. And in karate, there's a stance called the front stance, which looks like this. And I want to talk to you about how adopting these stances, not necessarily physically in the office, because we've got to be honest, probably don't want to be doing this when you're walking down the hall, but mentally, and embodying this warrior stance in your life and at work can really help you navigate through the most challenging of circumstances. Because in times of change, rather than a stance like this or a stance like this, what we're often inclined to do is adopt a stance that looks more like this, or perhaps more like this. And what that does is it may allow us to shield ourselves from what's coming and to, in a certain way, kind of get cover in case the worst breaks loose. But what it also does when we go like this is it leads us to vacate ourselves. So in times of change, what we really need to do is we need to move away from, or instead of focusing on all the things that we're afraid of, to come back to the things that we're confident in. Instead of worrying about all the things that we don't know, to come back to the things that we do know. And instead of worrying about all the things that are out of our control, to really come back to the place where we do have some control over things. And all of that control is about how we respond to and meet the challenges that we're faced with. So, when you look at a warrior pose, you notice three things are true. First, your eyes are head on, looking straight at your challenge. And you're not afraid. You may not know what's coming, but you know that you're not going to vacate the scene. Secondly, with all of those various warrior poses, whether it's warrior 1, warrior 2, or in a karate stance, front stance, you've got your front leg bent out. And this is your shock absorber. So metaphorically, you too have a shock absorber, and you have relied on it several times in your past. If you think about things that you've been through, you got to admit, and I can predict with all certainty, without even having met you, that there are times that you probably didn't know how you were going to make it through, but you did. So instead of worrying about all the things that can happen, trust in the fact that you've been through worse, or maybe things that have been challenging, if not worse, also were something that maybe at the time you weren't sure you were going to be able to get through, but you did. So trust in that. The irony is a lot of people end up thinking more about the things that they don't have data in, the things that are purely conjecture or hypothetical, rather than the absolute, solid, indisputable data that they actually had it in them to make it through the challenges that they faced throughout their lives. So, gaze forward, looking your challenge in the eye, front leg bent out. Last piece of this is that your back leg is straight, and it's a support for you. It's something that allows you to maintain your balance and to know that you can be upright in the midst of change and challenge. And what this really symbolizes is your ability to believe in yourself, your ability to know that you have what it takes, even though you may not know what the future is going to confront you with. You realize that you have the ability to figure things out, that you have the ability to get through it, and that you're going to not vacate the scene, you're going to rise up with confidence and summon that warrior spirit. When you adopt this stance in response to change and challenge, what you're able to do is not only summon your own warrior spirit, but you can be an inspiration to others. Because as a leader, what people need from you is not solid answers. They don't need you to tell them exactly what's going to happen. And honestly, if you tried to tell them in the absence of actually knowing, you probably wouldn't inspire a whole lot of trust, and you probably wouldn't feel very strong in your leadership. But what you can do is you can inspire in other people the same thing that you've summoned in yourself, your warrior spirit, your ability to reflect on all the things that you have to be confident about, your strength, your perseverance, the way that you've risen up to challenges in the past. All of these things you can remind your people of as they confront their challenges in the future. And again, sometimes in times of change, the most important thing is simply not to run away, not to vacate the scene. So I invite you to think of change from this point forward not as something that you need to hide from or wait to pass, but something that you can meet head on with the stance of a warrior and all the knowledge that not only will you be able to rise up to this challenge, but this challenge will summon in you something that maybe you've lost touch with or would do well to reconnect with in the future. So that's my tip for you today. If you like this video, please share it with others. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss a single one in the future, come over to my website, dianebolden.com, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Diane Bolden signing off and encouraging you to lead better and live brighter. Thanks for watching.